Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. But I want to bring your attention to a show that I'm going to be having tonight. It's going to be very interesting. I'm encouraging all of you, those of you that are listening to this video, to tune in tonight, because perhaps this might be some of the reason why we have all of the mess that is going on in our own country. Because you have to listen to these things. These things, the trouble we've been having in Liberia didn't start overnight. These are things that's been happening from time to time. There are those who came before us, past generation, failed to recognize these things, and will continue to repeat them. And because we ourselves have not yet able to recognize and see if these things can be rectified, so that this country, beautiful country of ours, can be built just by our hands as Liberians. Doesn't matter who you are at this point. Concord country, it doesn't even exist anymore. We're all one another. We're all one country, one people. But if we do not understand why these things are happening to us, we're most likely not going to be able to find solution. So I ask you tonight to join me.
Yet, how does one begin to help people who swim on their own flooded streets to voting booths to vote incompetent criminals back into office?
Yes, that is a big question we all have to answer. How do you help people who will go to the voting booth swimming in their own flooded streets just to vote people in offices who are incompetent? And those incompetent people that are being voted in offices will also appoint people who are also incompetent. So this is like a big deal. How do we help our brothers and sisters to make sure that their voting rights are utilized effectively? They have the voting cards. They must be told how important their voting cards are to all of us. And so I'm saying, those of us that have this platform, this is not time for hate. You don't come into this because you hate. You must do all you can to educate the voters themselves, how important their voting cards are. Because of their vote, our leaders being able to do what is right for our people. Join me this evening as I try to explore this particular question and many more that will be coming. Join me this evening at 8 Eastern Time, 5 Pacific, where we will take on this question and be able to see how much we can go. With your help, we, the Liberian people, will be able to educate our brothers and sisters that have the right to vote whoever they want, but they must do so with responsibility. This is Samson Toll, Liberian Public Radio. Thank you very much.
C'est autiste-moi, encore une autre fidèle qui l'Amérique n'a pas loupé. Quand il y a Sylvie, il a quoi qui j'ai loupé presse. L'Amérique n'a pas loupé. T'as mon bien de moi avec moi. En ce moment, on va battre au moins néo. Mon temps d'hier, t'as mon mouillé. On s'est battu pour moi, il pleure. Avec la locale.
Doing anything that people get amended, and they will be from 2005 to date. We all doing anything. I've done something. Trust me. I'll be re-elected. You understand? So you don't need to fight. You don't need to destroy your country. You don't need to even condemn your country. You have to be inspired, peacefully, and then convince the people, persuade people. Politics is about persuasion, and it's about what you have done for your people. I have done so much that I don't need pay for. You know why I don't need pay for? Because Liberians love me and they promoted me when I was on a soccer page. You know what I'm saying? And they were proud to be Liberian when I was on the soccer page. And I've done my best for my country. I'm a former peace ambassador. It doesn't matter what people say, I'm on record.
Yao, abela lokeyo, bivito jobai, bivito inoba, matisi mokeyo. Manager Gigi, ouais t'es jamais forcé ou si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco Noscan Yassin de Toyebi, l'homme a tout fait pour Mivito, Aniche les vieux.
Henry, I can tell you the problem of this country with respect to prices, with respect to health, with respect to education, and largely tied to roads. There are no roads. You don't see opportunities where they should be when you don't have roads. From up to 173 years, we only have one road. How do you know what is happening in Bapolu when you don't have roads? You don't go there. The prices of goods, commodities on the market are high because to get them to where they are needed. So there's no way you can, when I talk about road, I'm not talking about putting road on the sidewalk in Monrovia, $50,000 road and make it $3 million. We're talking about roads that will open up the country. We're talking about roads that will open up opportunities, roads that will get businesses going, and dependency reduced because people believe their goods and commodities can get to the market. That's what we're talking about.
But we will prosecute and will confiscate assets that people steal and acquire by illicit means. I often say that in Liberia, when people get caught, they send their wife, they send their children, they send their relatives, whatever, to come and beg. I'm saying the Liberian people, don't come and beg. You know, don't come and tell me, oh, stand to help you get elected. He talked nice about you on the radio station. Now he's stealing, so forgive him. Stanley should have known when he was stealing that we're going to punish him. So there's going to be consequences. That's the first thing. Then we have to make sure we're paying people a living wage. So we did the arithmetic, we did the math in 2017 that when you look at policeman's salary or healthcare worker's salary or teacher's salary, by the middle of the month, the money finished. By the time they pay rent, they buy food, they pay the children to eat, and of course, they're not going to starve, right? So the policeman will pull you over, the teacher will accept bribe, they change grades.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Labron Public Radio. Back in the studio, thank God. God is just wonderful. God is just wonderful. You see behind me, I'm back in the studio. I'm not in one of those places, But anyway, thank you. Welcome, folks. Samson to Labron Public Radio. If you listen to my voice right now, it's not itself, but we have to come up. On the weather or not, we still have to come up. So anyhow, I want to thank all of you again for tuning in. Please share this video as much as possible. Sharing sense, but please share it to as many people as you can. We have a program tonight, very wonderful one, I would think. But safety, Lord Jesus, yes, my Lord. Thank you. You took us from here. You brought us back safely. In your hands we are. Thank you. On the weather or not, you have control over that as well. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you. Thank you for your traveling message. Thank you. Thank you for guiding us. Thank you. Thank you for getting us there safety and bringing us back safety. Thank you. Thank you for guiding the system we were there for. Thank you. Thank you for bringing our brothers and sisters together, having fun together, even though it's an election. Thank you. Thank you, my Lord. Thank you. My Lord, we ask you, Liberia is itself is ongoing tremendous tension right now. And we ask you to guide us. Put Liberia and Liberian people in your hands. My Lord, only through you, all of these things are possible. And we ask you, we beg you, we pray to you to guide the system, Bless our leaders, bless the leadership of the opposition. Give them wisdom to do what is good for our people. My Lord, thank you for all that you have done and continue to do for the people of Liberia and for all of us. We want to thank you. We want to thank you again this evening. We want to thank you. Oh, you're wonderful. You're wonderful. Forgive us for all the sin we've committed, because none of us here is perfect, but we ask you to continue to guide us. Bless the host country. The Republic of Liberia is my host country, but bless the host country, the United States of America, who is continuing to give us a protection, security protection, give us the opportunity to work hard and be able to feed our brothers and sisters back home and here as well. We want to thank you. No one else. Can you imagine somebody else holding key of something over Samson to life? As handsome as I am, my Lord, because of you, I'm handsome. Can you imagine somebody telling me, say, Samson to? Oh my goodness! When I think about those things, I just lift up my hand and say, thank you, my Lord, and just praise you. It doesn't matter where I am, I just praise you. Can you imagine? You take your car, you get on the road. Who's on the other side driving towards you? Do you know who that person is?
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Ah, yes, 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 yes. When you get up in the morning, do you know how you were sleeping? Do you know how you got up? Thank you, Jesus. I don't want to go through that this evening. I'm just happy that I'm here, and I want to thank you for everything. And we praise you because you're worthy. Without you, nothing is possible. Just think about it. Think about it. Think about it. You can be walking and it's raining, lightning strike, but it's far away from you. Why could it not be in you? Because God is in control. Oh, people, if you don't know him, try to know him, and you will find out some of the wonders that he continued to do, some of the wonders that he has done for all of us. Just imagine gun shooting, people are dying, and you live. Why? Why? Thank you. All I can say is thank you, Jesus. Thank you for your protection. My Lord, we ask you again to bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Folks, I'm sorry that I was going on and on because the kinds of blessing that I received over the weekend was just tremendous, to be honest with you. And I just wanted to praise God. So, folks, let's go ahead. Samson was in in one of those northern Midwest state of North Dakota for the Boston District Association Convention. And I want to say to all Liberians, and many of you, like, in fact, the entire country, if you want to know how to conduct an election, free, fair, transparent election, come to Boston District. Bishop Chair will teach you. Come to Boston District. The election commission that just conducted this wonderful, wonderful election in Boston District will teach you. Come and join us. Come, they will teach you. It was wonderful. I have my Tabata here before I can bring in the panelists to join me here tonight. But let me go on here. Folks, I want to start with this thing here. In the 1800s, even up to the time the Civil Rights or the 14th Amendment, whatever amendment they had, until that time, they had what they call poll tax. Poll tax, where they tax you. If you're going to register to vote, they tax you, and you pay, then you register. And people, one of the things that I notice about us, and I say us, including me, we're quick to forget where we were. We're quick to forget where God had brought us from. We're quick to forget. Was it not because of the election that we have a war? And did we not say people were going to have a free and fair election? You made the people give their ID card. If those ID card is misplaced, you're charging people $5 in Liberia. People who can't even get $1 in 1 week, you're charging them $5 to replace $5 US to replace an ID. What is it? You're trying to be your election commissioner? Are you guys trying to enrich? Where are you going to put the money? Why? This is the time now the president and everybody else, the legislators, you stop this. They say enough. Replace the car. Replace the car. If anybody have a damaged car and still legally eligible to vote, replace their car. But instead you're charging $5 poll tax. What a shame! What a shame! What a shame! These young people that have no means. I'll give you an example. So one time I was in Monrovia driving, and this guy hit the keke guy in front of me. For some reason, we all was in line. He decided to stop in the middle of the road to put passenger down, and I just bumped into him. He wanted me to pay for his keke to buy his new keke. I said, "Look at one here. You think because I'm looking like they are, you think because they see him my face, I come from America, you know who I am?" I turned around straight. He myself, we went straight to no-go English. I said, "What you thinking? Where you think I come from? America?" What wrong with you? You stupid, eh? What make you think I get money? You can pay for keke. Well, I can't even get money. I borrow somebody's car to come go wrong. Well, see if I can buy some plenty and things like that. Then you tell me I'm gonna pay you. Hey, Papa, you gotta pay my car. You gotta pay for it. I said, oh, you go sue me. Take me to the station. He knew very well if we are going to the station, he won't get a dime from me. He knew that. But he decided he was going to harm me anyway. So he followed me. So I said, Happy, the tire that when I bumped into him, he had some stuff sticking behind his stuff and they pressed through my tire. I said, I'm not going to fool around with it. I'll take it somewhere for them to fix it. About $20 to fix it. I don't care. So I went down to the next street. I think they call it A.B. Tubber Boulevard. A.B. Tubber, but that's the one that right by the tax collector over there on EW Junction. You go straight across from Football Field. You go straight. I think A.B. Tubber Boulevard, something, whatever they call it. But anyway, I went there. There was a little young man over there at a place. I asked him to fix the car. He said, "Oh, okay, I'll fix it for you. $10, $10 US." So I gave 15. He was happy. So as I was doing this young man came back again. Omer Pape, they call me Omer Pape. I said, look, you must step at the same age. Don't call me Pape business help. Say, I'm not being serious. I said, okay, what you want? He said, I want you to pay my tax. I said, I can't get you. Go sue me or take me to police. Well, let's talk about it. Then he started whining. I look at it. I said, okay, you know what? I'll give you $5. Go your way. I go my way. No, they can't think, hey, you know how much it cost me? I say, okay. I say $5. You don't want it? Go sue me. Okay, give it to me. I will take it anyway. So when I look at him now, he started sounding like, really in me. I took $10 and gave it to him. But before that, there was another young man who was riding his bike, and for some reason, he punches the front and the rear tire of his bike all went flat. So he needed a new tube. So he was sitting there. The guy said, oh, all your stuff gone. You need two new tubes. $350, $3 US, 50 cents each. He said, where get that kind of money from? Hey, man. But before that, he was the witness for the guy. Hey, Papa, you got to pay the man back, man. You can't do that. You got all that money there, and you're sitting down here, and you want the man trying to earn a living. He started pleading. I'm paying attention. But when the picking gone out, get it, picking the $10, he left. Hey, now, he there crying now. He got money. He got $5 to get a two. Hey, what would do now? How am I going to support my children now? Small, young man. So I said, how much is it? The man said, $350. I said, okay, I gave you $10. Oh, the picking went on his knees, started thanking me. I said, oh, and you are the witness here, and you don't want to say, remember, I'm going to pay. Oh, Papa, how many like that? Oh, forgive me over. I paid for his stuff. Okay. I gave him his stuff. But the point that I'm making overall here, these young people in Monrovia that are driving bike, that are on, they can't afford $5. They can't. But here you are. Telling people to pay $5 to replace a card. You know how many thousands of people that have their cars stolen or damaged? So that means someone who is duly registered, or even who has the ability or who is qualified to register because of the $5, you're telling them they can't. What is the difference between that and a poor tax? What kind of business you're up to over there? I was traveling yesterday from Farco, of course. So I called Cesar when I got him in Minnesota. I called. He said, oh, Mr. Toll, he and I have talked about it. He sent me an address where you want me to meet him. I met him. This young man you'll see on the TV every time he come on a very serious note. You're not taking for joke. I went to an office yesterday. Cubicle. Far away where your eye can see. Almost 50, 60 cubicle. Old people like me working. Young people like him working in a cubicle. And guess who the reporter? To the math director. math director. From this point, he's no longer, I'm not going to call him Minnesota politician. From this point, I will call him math director. He's a director of the Minneapolis School District math section. He's the director of math. So all of the math curriculum for that school district, Minneapolis School District, one of the largest in the United States. The math curriculum come through him. That young man you see that's so. The one you see that's so. Hey, be that some South African politician. You might not play with him. You might not play with him. He's not something small. I went to your office yesterday. I'm not talking about that kind of office. I'm talking about what people, sir. The whole time, okay, hello, director. I'm looking behind me to see who they're calling director. Then they hit me. Oh, I'm working with a director. I was looking for some old man and to say, okay, well, maybe the director will work on his other director. I said they were talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, but I didn't tell you. I said they calling director? My goodness. My goodness. Of what I'm trying to say here this evening, book that has something to play with. You steady hard. So saying that my partner here to put into the position. All knowledge where he know that all getting on a high position. And I will put this here. I will predict. Most likely, Sese is not called home to be the Minister of Education soon. The young man going to run the entire Minneapolis school district. He's smart. I went in the office. He had about let me take my own mind. He got 1, 2. I think he had one on the other side, but the bowl all covered up. And then he brought in some book that how to do curriculum and stuff like that, which I have no clue on. And I was looking at it and I saw his name on it. Number 1. What kind of smart young man is so? I thought I was smart, but compared to you, I had nothing. Yeah, come here. But my people, it's not easy. It's not easy. I know they say a lot of people. I must say I've been saying that. A lot of people know book, but the other one here, it passed Mark. It passed Mark. Math director, all the way from Lofa County, not too far from Guinea border. He came to America. He's a math director. Math. I'm not saying criminal justice director. That's what I'm saying. Listen again. I don't say criminal justice director. I don't say social worker director. I said math director. That's your 2 plus 2 equal 5. That's kind of math I'm talking about. Curve. I mean, what is it? What is it? Curve on a radio? Whatever. I don't even know it anymore. But math director. On a very serious note, this young man, one of these days he will come on the show and I will show you again. This young man controls math budget of the whole entire school district. And I over here, I think say I was some kind of bishop. I beg you here. I beg you, Samson toe. You even touch the picking toe. And no pun intended. But on a very serious note, some math director. And he's not even 50 yet. Math director. I saw him yesterday. I said, but what people are they playing with me or what? Are they this is a math director? Are they joking? No. He said, come on, Mr. Toe, let's go to my office. I said, okay. I was hoping to see some kind of janitor office somewhere. They push in a janitorial position where, way in the corner there. No. Center stage on the second floor. I said, cubicle, go all the way through your eyes can see. Old man, young man, everybody working for him. Are you kidding me? All the way from Lofa. Even from Osoro County. The young man is not even from Montserrat. I say all the way from Lofa. From Lofa. You see what I'm talking about? And here's the interesting thing and the hurtful one. As smart as he is, like Brown government going to just play around like this here. And Minnesota and Minneapolis, they were just milk all his knowledge out of him and support their children. And his knowledge will make these children to be educated. His knowledge, they love for young men, there's love for young men. Yeah, Liberia. You don't know. They love for young men. Minneapolis and Minnesota, they were just milking. They were just milking and take all his knowledge from him. Then when he says 70-year-old, then the brother say, "Oh, can't help her." At the time now for you to call him to say, can't help her. Then you're sitting down there. Who know your business? So when he and myself started having conversation, then it pain. But I didn't want to show him that it was very painful with the kind of conversation we were having yesterday. He was telling me some stuff. And I thought to myself, so these people at the Ministry of Education, they're just I will take down with my language here this afternoon. I'm not going to let anger control the language that I use. I will be respectful. They are just there to bluff us. That's the word I would use here, bluff. Because if I use the other language that people will run away from my show tonight, I would say they're bluffing us. How do you come up with the curriculum they have over there in Liberia? Very painful. SSO, UBE, IBE, what kind of thing is that? The SSO started back in 1937. It's still on today. SSO, UBE, WABABE. What kind of thing is that? And your guy says Goya putting books together for Minneapolis young people to study, and they will rule us. From Sese knowledge, if people will go and be senator of the United States. From Sese knowledge, some of them might even be president of the United States. From Sese knowledge. And then they will tell us, after they utilize our son knowledge to gain their education, then they will turn around and tell us what to do. My people, Liberia. Oh, you're missing out. And interestingly, Sese is not alone. There are many young, there's another young man here. I couldn't forget his name. But when we were running a campaign for a friend of mine, campaign in Zredro, this young man, were able to put data together as though he was running Obama campaign here in the United States. And he brought it to me. I said, "Why would I do anything here? I talk about crime people, then you can bring that kind of knowledge. Who over there will understand it?" He said, "Papi, but we have to do this thing here so we'll understand." I said, "You? Over there, the people asking for chicken soup in order to vote. They want chicken soup. They want cup of rice. Then you can't bring those kinds of knowledge here." It was unbelievable, the statistic he brought that could be utilized for us to find out the voters and what they think and how to reach them. And I said, they weren't able. Because the people are talking about, they were there looking for baby top. When somebody gave them baby talk, they will vote for you. And yes, this smart young man coming in with that kind of knowledge. Let me bring another young man in here. Yeah, let me bring in Terry. Good evening. Thank you for joining. My team said no one work. Yeah, man. They can really get to me, man. They can really get to me, man. Hello, Terry. How you doing, Chief?
Yeah, how you doing, sir?
Yeah, no, I was just talking about your colleagues, you calling your older brother, Sese. I went to the office yesterday. Not only my mouth was open, my eyeball was open, but I didn't want to show him. I don't want to embarrass him. But when I gave him a car, I was like, wow. Smart is not easy. Mm-hmm. But you are now too. With all that knowledge, when you're ready to educate us here, then I number get there. Hey, what he say you gonna you sedition. Man, let's see. Tonight, but don't bring it to me. I vet. Because many young, including I number 9, why I number 9 stay here without knowledge? A young with water culture. As smart as he is, listen to Wonder Cutter when he read to talk on it. I don't agree with him on many, not even many. I don't agree with it. I number 9 and Wonder Cutter. I don't agree with anything. But when these young people open their mouth, you know exactly that they are knowledgeable. And they're here. They're here with me in the United States to do what? Why our people are suffering? They can't get them back there. The people they get over there. My other countrymen saying Wulu. Jefferson coach he threatened him the last time he can't run him by. Yeah, I'm a sedition. They who calling me now? Oh no, man. Okay. Jefferson coach he threatened him the last time. If you don't show yourself, you will have to be removed. Blue, he ran by the CDC. I'm a sedition. As smart as he is. Those are the kinds of people. Jefferson Kochi would not have done that to young, smart Liberians. Because that man will tell you, you know what, Jefferson? Goodbye. I'm not here to help you. I'm not here for your money. Goodbye. And Jefferson Kochi would have shut his mouth. But look at Sam Rue. Rue, he can't run it. They ain't got nothing to offer. They got nothing to offer. So tonight, CDC, you wanna bring it to me. Y'all bring it, you people myself will be on it. Foot to foot. I'm not here to fool around tonight. But anyway, Terry, thank you for joining me on a very serious note. And everything else is serious except for me and CDC fighting foot to foot. And that's a joke. But the smart of these young Liberians, and I was at a Grand Jury convention. I mean, Washington District Convention, 2 days, and there was a debate that I was one of the moderators. The young lady that was who is not a vice presidential I don't call it elect. The young lady, when she opened her mouth, and the first thing I didn't want to say it because people think say, oh, they messed up. I was going to ask her, you sure you're from Grand Jury? How come you got plenty of knowledge that that's so? You want more? You from Grand Jury? You speaking book like that? I was going to say that, but then I told him, I said, no, let me just leave it alone. The thing is, there are so many Liberians all over the young Liberians, highly educated, but they are here because of the thing back home. Our people back home don't want to utilize those who are here. I mean, utilize their ability to help those who are here. They rather get them over. I'm not saying the people over there they're not smart. They're good, but most likely they are corrupt. I say so. Terry, thank you for okay. But yeah, we always say zero. I want to wear my. Imaya boy, thank you. Oh, says it. You laughing at my man. I even want. Don't count up, guy. I want to talk to you. You way above my pay grade, dude. I want to talk to you, sir. But let me bring in Terry. Terry, one of the things that I was stressing here was this: what I call poll tax. The corrupt Liberian officials, including the election commission, charging people $5 to replace their miss or destroy ID car, voter registration car. And I thought that was just like a poll tax, and it's ridiculous. What do you have on your plate? And what's going on with the rescue?
$5 what, US or Liberty?
Yeah, $5 US. The people can't even find money to buy them a cup of rice. They say they want to pay you $5. They're not stopping people from voting. You know, this is one of the things. And most of the people, they are educated. And they know the history of black people in the United States and voting process. They know how important it is for people to exercise their right to vote. And you want them to buy their right to vote. That is unacceptable. But I'm way here in the United States. What can I do? But anyway, what's on your mind, Terry? What's on your plate this afternoon that you care to discuss? Marlins, if you're listening, you want to join us, please do so.
Yeah, a lot is happening.
Hold on, Terry.
Yeah.
Terry, hold on. I see somebody in the back. What they make? I mean, embarrass me here. Okay, let me. Mr. Director, good evening to you, sir. Jesus.
They say what you did to the papi, man.
If I get too my heart, I swear.
Somebody just call me, some man, go on your show. The liberal, they'll own you big time again, man. Come up there, how that feel. Terry, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing, bro?
I'm okay.
How you doing, Mr. Director?
Man, I'm all right, Mr. Tool. It was on a serious note. It was really nice for you to have stopped by yesterday to see me.
I'm now when I read to open my mouth and talk about you, I'm not holding back because I've seen everything, especially those people that you brought from behind your chair yesterday. Really impressed me. And what I'm going to do here, before the week is over, I'm going to invite you and be the lone star on my show, and I will ask you plenty of questions.
There are, believe it or not, there are a lot more Liberians doing wonderful things than me. There are many people, opening doors, and we just
see that. When a few I've seen.
But you're one of them. I've seen you supervising highway constructions and stuff. Like I said in one of my posts,
when I went in yesterday. And Terry, I'll come back to you. Please just forgive me a minute. When I went in yesterday, I saw the rows and rows of cubicle. And I'm thinking to myself, when you took me in, the first thing I was looking for, you said, I'll go to my office. I said, I was looking for your cubicle. That's the first thing I was looking for. And then I didn't see cubicle. We keep going. I said, okay, maybe they got him somewhere in the janitorial area there to push, something. I know you're not pushing broom, but I thought maybe the guy something. And then right in the middle of everybody, ooh, the officer, you open it up. So I'm thinking, okay, then I saw your knee. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, thank you, though. Thank you. But like I said, there are a lot of people doing wonderful things. I've said this about you before. You can joke around. I was telling somebody in the back one time, I said, oh, that old man, can you thought about that? I said, oh, man, that old man is an engineer. He's very smart. He come on here to joke, but he is a very smart man. And like I said the other day, I have a lot of respect for you because we're both engineers. But beyond that, I've seen you do structural engineering. I've seen you take a whole car down and put it back together while listening to crowd music. That is a lot of talent. We joke around a lot, but there are a lot of Liberians in the diaspora that are doing really wonderful things that are opening major doors that we just don't highlight. I tell the Tabatanya community that can always be highlighted. But it was really nice having you yesterday. I was so happy when I saw you. I'm like, wow, I'm making to see me. So
I'm very happy too. You're making all of us proud. And some of the things that I was screaming about here, which is true. The people, of course, they're paying you. I would say, people, but they getting paid, of course. But they will milk all that knowledge from you at this young age. Then when you retire, and I tell like Brown government, oh man, you can't help. But I tell you, can't even move again. As young as you guys are, this is the best time to, it's not so much of competition, but bring those people in. And even if they can't have serious competition with the folks back home, that's fine. But you will find with that kind of spirited competition, you will find something good will come out of that. But they don't want to do that. They're all scared because they got nothing to offer. They run here, run campaign. Right now, as campaign CC, there's some of them that live here. They're over there right now running campaign. So they're hoping that whoever wins, the person they're running after when they win, so they will put them in position that they have no qualification for. They have no qualification. They want to be a foreign minister, having with RN degree, and they want to be a foreign minister. These are some of the things that are killing us. By the way, let me bring in Terry. Since I'm going to invite you here on a very serious note, the conversation we started yesterday, I think you need to educate me more on it. How these things, the curriculum when they developed, what is that? Something like a research group? I really like to go into that. I really like to go because all I know, I go to school. They say the professor can say go to the bookstore. Yeah, they need the book. I go buy it. I don't. But I've always wondering what's the mindset of the only thing that is most of the professors, and I brought that out yesterday because I heard most of the professors write this book in order for them to be promoted in their department, But all of the stuff that goes behind that, because you can't just write a book. The book must be you write it, but it must the criteria of the book have to certify specific school district or school area in order for you, and as you explained yesterday. But I will have you on here, and you and I are gonna go and have a serious conversation about an hour and a half on that. But let me go to Terry. Terry, what's on your plate, sir?
Well, you guys have already started up with it, and Liberia got some wonderful characters, but the problem is that do we have the platform to express what we know? That's the thing. Do Liberia have the platform right now to express what we know? We saw auditors then leaving their families here, going to Liberia and dying mysteriously. So you firstly have to create the environment safe enough for competent people like you guys to be able to leave from America and say, let me go and help my country. You're not going to leave America and go help your country, your family depending on you, and mysteriously because some kind of money came to your hand and some kind of God wanted it and you refuse, overnight they put you in the bed. You don't want to hear that kind of story. So people want to go to Liberia when it's a level playing field, when the opportunity is secure to go and be able to express what they know. So they're not going to leave the opportunity here to jump into Liberia to raise their life. But what I already have on my plate that is going on all around, and when I saw the show, I thought I could make some contribution. Maybe somebody could hear me out, or maybe the president could hear me, or whosoever watching. But there's a lot have been taking place in the country. I think from my perspective, JMB is now in the lead of the campaign. From my perspective, I think JMB is in the lead based upon what he did yesterday.
We're talking math director from your perspective. He come and ask you for statistic.
Yeah.
Terry, don't mind. I tell you, don't mind. Don't mind.
I hope I'm not in a house room.
Hold on. I beg you. Don't want to why when you come here, you want to challenge people on all of these statistics because now I know. Next time I read open my mouth, be careful. Let me bring in Miles here. Let him join us. Terry, go ahead. Terry, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So there are there's a lot of things that have been going on in the country. So from my perspective, I think that JMB in the lead based upon his response to appearing on Truth FM yesterday and things he said, it brought it rejuvenated his campaign, and he had been moving simultaneously in the county, from districts. I think what I really want to
you're killing me. I'm sorry, you're killing me. All that double English. You way here in Minnesota, they said man simultaneously in Liberia. I don't know how. Yeah. But go ahead, Marcel. Anyway, go ahead. You know me, I just like the go ahead.
Yeah, so actually he's moving around. But what really captured my attention was President Weah. All in all, President Weah captured my attention, and Mr. Uri, actually. But President Weah already captured my attention.
Yeah, go ahead, expand on that.
And what he did was that the statement that he made in Bomi, trying to get Mr. Morrissey Tuma to be elected by the people on the basis of him. His statement was that Morrissey Tuma recognized him and said that he was going to be president for Liberia. So because of that relationship, the people should vote him. He was not really looking at what have Morrissey Tuma achieved. All right. And that is, I believe, the reason why the people were booing. So I don't think they were really booing him. They were not rejecting him. They were rejecting the offer he was giving them because he did not have the right platform. He did not present Morrissey Tuma the way it's expected. And Morrissey Tuma had already not performed. He had 9 years to perform and he did not really perform. And I think in my mind, that was a decline for the campaign of the CDC. All right. That from my perspective,
Okay. All right. Well, as usual, that's CDC anyway, so I'm not that surprised. Because they want to do something good. The whole last week, his star was shining. He was everywhere. People, now you're going to go and bring in somebody you know very well. The campaign people, Edwin Snowden should have told him, don't do that. Instead, you're going to go over there. But at CDC, they always like to put their foot in their mouth. He gone over there all last week, 2 weeks now in a row. He's been shiny. Now you're gonna put somebody hand on and they're booing that person, and all the opposition are gonna take it as though they were booing President We are. So that CDC. I'm not surprised. That CDC. But let me bring. Say, go ahead. What's on your plate, sir? And then we'll go to Mali's here.
Well, I too saw the tips because there's been so many around about the president's visit to Clay District in Bowman County. I have a different take. I think every every type of ticket candidate is going to have a few down ballot candidates that are going to be difficult to sell. So if you're running for the presidency, there are going to be few people who are candidates for the legislature. Based on where you at, that's going to be really hard to sell them. That is the reason you find even in American politics, you will find in some districts, people vote overwhelmingly for the president, but don't support the legislative candidate for that same president in that same area.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I think in Clay, I think Satoma has had 9 years, and when you have a record in politics, is a good thing and a bad thing because now people can judge you based on your records. And Satoma has a record in Clay, especially actually in the whole of Bowman County. And I've been in Bowman campaigning before the last elections. I've been in all those towns like Ba and Bomoda Salamo and all those places. And people said things about Satoma that I know he was going to have a hard time getting reelected. And so the president, is trying to sell a guy who does not have a very high approval rating among his people. So I think that kind of shook him a little bit, but I don't think that is a good barometer to measure We Are's popularity. Plus, number two, presidential candidates are going to go to places where their popularity is not that high. Right now in Bowman County, President We Are is fighting against Alex Tyler and Sandro Dazo Johnson. Those are people that have been in power, that have been in authority, that have some people following them. And the wave against having had 5 years of a record. So that is tough. I know even Joe Buaka, even my guy, is going to go into some counties where, other political leaders have a stronger base, and it's going to be a hard sell. The good thing about Liberian politics is this is not, an electoral college thing where you say, I want Maserado, so I get all Maserado vote, or I want Bamekande, I get all Bamekande vote. All you got to do, you go places and pick up, and hopefully you get to the majority. But to Terry's point, it should be troubling. I think other political parties they need to look at what happened today in Clay and start to figure out who do you put out there to try to sell those candidates that really have low rating. Maybe it should have been a VP out there. Maybe it should have just been Snow out there today trying to sell Satoma and not expose the president to that kind of stuff.
But before I go to Malik in your converse in this area as well, do you think that what if some whatever Maurice Satoma is not re-elected, you think then that perhaps will be something of a concern for Snow because they put him and Snow in the same boat,
Well, the good thing for Snow is Snow still have many years. You still have a few more years to do,
right.
to turn around. And if you know anything about Snow, Snow is the political chameleon. That man can change his color in a heartbeat. Keplakoto wrote the beginning of the book. Snow wrote the ending, wrote the revelation on how to hang your clothes under the sun.
Right.
So don't sleep on Snow. Snow can flip at any time, so he still has a long time to either solidify his position or try to change. But Satoma doesn't have that. And so I think, though, the CDC, I don't know who came up with that idea. I think that was a mistake, exposing the president like that.
Yeah.
Because that booing was meant for Satoma, but who was on stage at the time? Right? And so people are now understanding it as it was a booing for the president. So I think the CDC should have thought a little bit more critically about that. And I hope they take a lesson from here. You can have a person that Snow sells Satoma, let them boo Snow and Satoma that they've been in. And the president moved on to much friendlier ground. Like when they get to Topmerberg, to Senior District, which is where Snow used to be the representative before he became the senator. I think that would be a much, easier ground and a much
So,
more.
so if you were in a hierarchy of CDC right now, where will you take the president to dust that out quickly?
So they go to Tubmanburg. They go to Tubmanburg, which is where Snow was a senator, a representative before becoming senator. He has an actual campaign office in Tubmanburg. He's done a lot of things in Tubmanburg, and you try to beef up the crowd. You bring people from surrounding places. You create a more friendly crowd. I think that's what they need to do, and you have enough chanting, enough people praising the president, and you get past that. I think that's what they need to do when they need to get to Tubmanburg as fast as they can.
Thank you. I was going to bring in Miles, but I think he's gone off the screen here. So let me bring you back in, Terry. From what you saw yesterday, as you correctly stated, this is the move for the other guy. But how you think the opposition is taking this thing and how they're taking it and running around with it? You think that's a fair political campaign material to use, or then it's going to show the people that you are very unsincere?
Well, it is. You don't want for your opponent to gain momentum in the campaign, because campaign is politics, is about momentum and zeal and all the kind of thing. Motivation. You want to motivate your people. You don't want the people to be seeing the president hanging out there and people booing. The person hands that he's raising is not, to me, it's not a good thing for the campaign on the side of the incumbent. All right. And the opposition can use that as a propaganda against him as well.
I see.
But
what do you make of the president going to bombing and even being welcome as such when the road just got watched out a few days ago and they were all bent out of shape? And what exactly is happening with our Liberian voters? Is it that when the president shows up because of his popularity, that people tend to forget what they were saying 2, 3, 4 days ago or something like that? What do you make of that? Why are they so happy to receive the president? Terry, let's start from you.
Well, we got to understand that this is the president. All right. People go there for many reasons. Probably I will get something. Probably I will put a banner up that the president will recognize and be able to help us. He's the man that runs the show. So wherever he goes, people have to come there. Besides his soccer career, his popularity, he's the president of the country. His presence anywhere attract volume, attract people. All right. So people go there for many different reasons. But while they are there, what is put forth before them and they respond to what is put forth before them determines your popularity in that particular vicinity or not. So from what I stand, I see a decline in his joining. And I also want to say publicly on this platform, there were 3 girls, the CDC girls, that we're hearing that died in a motor accident. I want to extend my sympathy to the family of the bereaved openly, and all of that. I want to extend my heartfelt sympathy to the family of the deceased, of the CDC.
I also on Labron Public Radio, the Labron Public Radio family members also extend our heartfelt, sincere condolences to the family as well. So, Mr. Director of Math, what's on your plate this evening? No. That your new Neo.
Well, actually, what's on my plate is that we keep talking about 2 things, that the tenor, the languages that are being used for elections, that they become demilitarized, become unconfrontational, and be about the issues. I have said over and over, this weekend I was somewhere, one of my friends, they were having some discussion. Somebody started saying, Joe Buckeye is a dead man walking, he's dying. I said, you don't have to vote for Joe Buckeye. I don't support the candidacy right now of Joseph Nyuma Buckeye, because I think there's somebody better in the race who is Tiawan Gonglo. That's why I support Tiawan Gonglo. But you cannot be demeaning and derogatory to somebody's father, somebody's grandfather, and a man who has lived his life in public service. Some people see it as a bad thing. For me, I see it as a positive that this man has given, if it's 40 years, 50 years, 60 years of his lifetime to public service, it's a good thing. So you can discuss the issues and disagree with him on policies, but you cannot be demeaning to him. And the same thing about Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings, one of the finest, smartest Liberians. You're talking about me being in an office amongst cubicles. Think about where Alexander Cummings was able to rise up to. He was able to break down many doors and many barriers, and hopefully lay a groundwork so that other people will be comfortable hiring Liberians. And I think we can disagree on his policies. We can disagree on how you think to move Liberia forward, but to be demeaning and get really personal and low key about something that does not even benefit the Liberian population, I think is wrong. And it's the same thing goes to President Dr. Josh Manawia. This man has given, people keep talking about $85 million he had. Yes, probably he went broke. Probably he had less money. But don't forget, during the heyday of his soccer career, when Liberia was down, and the only thing out there about Liberia was about us killing one another, he provided a different point of view for people to look at. A beacon of a shining star. Like some of us used to, in order to forget what's happening, used to go to video clubs and sit in those zing round shacks to watch George. We have mesmerized Europe with his feet and his talent. And so I can disagree with the president on the way forward for Liberia, on he and his CDC's ability to lead Liberia as fast as we want to, out of poverty and neglect. But I cannot be disrespectful to him, to insult him in any way, or become demeaning to him in any way. So when you ask me what's on my plate, is I'm going to keep pushing this thing. Is you can disagree with Tiawan Gonglo. I'm a Tiawan Gonglo guy, and it does not give me any right to come and insult you. You can disagree with Joseph Boakai. I should not give anybody right from the Unity Party to come and discuss, to insult you. The same thing with the ANC and the CDC. I think we all have to see one another as brothers in the same boat. We all just have a different understanding of what speed Liberia should be traveling at to get out of poverty towards success for our people.
Yeah, that's why I always say here, just like you, we will criticize, but we will be respectful. We will criticize, but we'll be responsible in our criticism, to be honest with you. And I also know when the goons were killing each other, he was there paying Liberia bills, football bills. On many occasions, when FIFA or whatever, whoever governing body wanted certain money from Liberia or else, he came in. One time he paid cash down $5,000 when they were killing each other. So this man has been doing a lot for Liberia for a very long time. So I'm glad that people, people are saying, yeah, Mr. Toh, thank you very much, but he's not political material. But that's okay. That's another thing we will have that conversation. Mali is not here yet. Okay, all right. So, Mali, I don't see you. You're not in your desk. So, okay. But let's go on. I also saw in the paper though where the president, and this is one thing that I think I give him credit for as well, and that is he keeps saying that under his watch, the election will be free and fair, no violence. But my question, when he make these kinds of statements, does he have control over the likes of Jefferson Kochi? And I'm not suggesting Jefferson Kochi is a violent man, far from it. But he has been linked with many violence, political violence, said to say. He at one time people accused him. In fact, he himself, he said people got stuck behind the line. His people got stuck behind the line, and he was going to go get them. And so the question is, does the president, does he have control on how Jefferson Kochi and his men moved? No, I don't believe that. What's about the youth when they attacked that young man at the U.S. embassy a few months back. So those are kinds of stuff. When he comes and make this kinds of pronouncement, I'm wondering what will happen if those people, Jefferson Kochi and the other one, decide to respond to provocation and it gets out of hand. Would those people be punished? So you guys, Terry, go ahead, take it from. What do you think will most likely happen? I mean, you can come in with your own point of view on this as well, please. Dr.
Yeah.
Toto, if you're watching and you have the time, please join us.
Yeah, so you and I know that it will be difficult for President Weah to literally respond to Jefferson Koji because he don't most of the time. The statement Jefferson Koji made against the minister, I think transport minister the last time, what did you hear President Weah say? Nothing. The statement, even when that guy ear cut and Jefferson Koji said a whole lot of things on the media, all right, and also between the CDC boys and the UP, that crisis, that little fight that came up during the campaign season recently, the president didn't say anything. All right, so your president is not the kind of guy that really goes out there to speak when chaos occur in the country. I think the only thing the president responds to is protest. The president hates protest. When somebody decides to protest, then that is when the president responds. He don't like protest. But when it comes to his people creating chaos, he don't respond. Even like the guy they beat at the embassy, the American embassy, the president didn't respond as well. So we need the president to speak when these kind of things occur. Then when he say that the election will be a transparent, free, and fair with all violence, then people will listen to him because he's the president. Like I said, Joe Barker, Mr. Cummings, or Honorable Teron Gongo, everybody is President. We are president. He's the big man in the town. The moment he stands to say Jack, everybody will say Rabbit. He have the mantle of authority in his voice. That is what makes you to be the leader. You have to behave like one. You have to act like one. And like you were talking, like, President we are then is different from President we are now. And most people say that power can change people. Power can bring all the real temperament in you out. And I think that is what we're seeing.
Benevolent dictator. It comes out very easily. I agree with you. Yeah. I agree with you. Okay. Let me go to the director. Director, same question here, but a different tone, and that is with all of these things the president pronouncing out there. Do you think he's sincere in his pronouncement, or this is just a way to be on, like you would say, I'm on record, to put himself on record as someone who is against political violence?
Intent and effect, two different things, right? Okay. I cannot judge the president's intent. For what I know about George Weah, before he became president, he's been a peaceful man. He's been an honorable man on and off the pitch. But then when I look at the effect, and this is facts, so you have to look at patterns. Since the CDC government took over, there has not been one election that they carry out, whether special election or whatever, that has been free of violence. You talk about the Lord Mayor of the city of Monrovia, my Uncle Tamba Kweji, saying that he was going behind the lines to get his people, and that they would meet blood for blood in the streets. There are certain things when you become a leader, you don't say anymore, because then your words carry a lot of power. And I think that was one of the mistakes Dr. Weah made when he said that anybody who insult him will now walk in the street of Monrovia, right after signing a bill that decriminalized, insulting public officials, So it is really tough for me to say, based on the pattern, yes, I believe that elections will be free and fair. But then again, things could change. And that's why I talk about the tenor, right? The language that we are using. If you watch I think it was a few days ago, Senator DeLong was online talking about, they will be ready And if anybody throw rocks, they would throw rocks, and everybody brought gun and shot, and they would answer in kind. These are not the kind of things we need going into elections. Now, can you blame the Unity Party for saying that? Well, I don't know, because they feel like they have been attacked consistently. And the CDC has said that they have not attacked them. The thing I'm saying here, without putting the blame at anybody's feet, is that the president of the Republic of Liberia should not be making statements like, if you insult me, you're not walking the street of Monrovia, or a mayor of the city of Monrovia should not be talking about going behind the lines to get his people, like other people were not part of his people. And a sitting senator like Senator Darius DeLong should not be making those kind of statements that if people throw rocks, we'll throw rocks, and if they shoot gun, we'll answer in kind. And I think the drumbeat of war is getting louder and louder, and somebody has to be a leader. Somebody really has to be a leader to bring this thing back down. Because at the end of the day, we're not far away we're not far removed from terror. We just witnessed terror in our most recent history. People are still traumatized by what happened in our most recent history. A lot of our people have not had access to therapy, and yet we are again, in this favor and talking about, if somebody shoot us, we shoot them back, and we got to go get our people from behind the line, all the other things. People have to be leaders, and leaders need to step up. And because the way you speak will help your followers to speak their way. When Tewan Gonglo comes on and he goes to visit the CDC headquarters and he talks to Morwa Malu and he's not insulting Omer Bwaka or he's not insulting Mr. Cummings, it will be difficult for somebody like me who support him to come out and insult Omer Bwaka or go out and insult Cummings or insult the president, right? Because that's not what my candidate is doing. So the people at the very top of the ballots, the people who have the most people following them, really need to start speaking differently so that the people at the bottom can start to follow them.
Okay, let me, Mr. George, thank you for joining us. If you're ready, just put your thumb up and I will bring you on. I don't see your thumb. I want to see your head. So, yeah, we go. Okay, let me bring you, Mr. George. But Mr. George, you got to turn the camera downward a little bit. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. So thank you for joining us, Mr. George. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. So let me just go back to here, Sissy. You said something very interesting. I thought perhaps you need to not need to, but I'll push you on that as well. Then. So what you just stated here, should I then say that perhaps it's a mistake of not having these political parties and even the government to have a contact group where they will be able to not necessarily share political information of what they're doing, but trying to monitor each other activities in terms of rhetoric and issues that perhaps will lead us on the wrong side. You think they should try to establish a group like that, or it's too late?
It's late, and I don't think it's even needed. It's just, if you allow people to get away with impunity, then you enable their actions. You spoke about the what happened at the July 26th celebration, and the president instructed the Minister of Justice to ensure that people were prosecuted. People were arrested and put in jail. I think 72 hours later they were bonded out. That is the end of that. Right? You even speak to minimum things, for example, like when the CPP held their program at the sports stadium, at the complex, and the branch security apparatus said they arrested a bodyguard to the Zana communes with a gun, and that became a major issue. We've heard nothing about that since then. Right, and so is these little bitty things that you allow to get away, and people get away with impunity, and other people start thinking empowered to do the exact same thing. So for me, when did it become so bad for Liberians to be in the same area and campaigning for different ideas? When did it become to a point where we are so bad and so hateful to each other that I gotta tell you I'll be in Mamba Point, and please make sure none of your people be even on 2nd Street. You better be all the way to Pinsville on the other side. When did they get to that point? And one thing that is so disheartening, Mr. Toe, is that these politicians and these political leaders, they meet and they are cordial to one another. They are cordial to one another.
Yeah.
but they don't send the message down to their people to be cordial with one another. I think that's a disservice to the Liberian people. I've never seen Joseph Boakai come on and call Comey baby police. I've never seen Comey come on and call Boakai dead man walking or insult the president or the president. You know, it's why do the followers do those things and these leaders don't try to clamp down on it? I get it. We have a lot of adults. People are going to do what they have to do. There are some certain things that's going to be outside of the control of these leaders, but you have to set the stage. You have to set the tone. You have to create the container so that the people that follow you can take the shape of their container. And I think this is what is lacking in our Liberian body politics. We should be able to, Mr. Toe, you must should be able to live in the same house, renting our little zinc share, your room opposite my room. You have your CDC, so I have my LPP or CPP or UP or placard up, and we see each other in the morning and we laugh. We go without me trying to burn down your only side of the house. But as it is right now, that is very impossible to happen in our Liberian body politics, which is sad.
Okay. Let me bring in Mr. George. Mr. George, thank you for joining us. But first question, just from what Sissy have just explained. So, is trying to quiet these things or trying to even the cultural relationship seem like between the leaders themselves? Is it in their interest? For them to pass that cordiality alone down the line, so that each of these people, each of these group will be sympathetic or whatever it is to the other person's view? Is it in their political interest to have peace, or this is just not something that they need to do because they want to win at all costs?
Sister, how you doing? Sarah, how you doing? And I saw that. I saw that a candid photo. So yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're very.
Jack visit Minnesota too. Don't
you know how many $1,000 I paid to go over there for me to get a picture up there?
You see, I said I saw a candid photo. Then you said I vest again. I don't know.
Yeah,
let's get a business. Look, what Sister said is true. But there is something that we have to look at. You know, the way we carry ourselves, what we say means a whole lot. And I hear Professor Cesar saying, George is a peaceful man. Okay. But under your watch, you are steering the ship, and there's always violence on that ship, and you don't know anything about it. That speaks volume of you being peaceful. And you are the one supposed to say, hey, you can't do this. If you do this, these are the consequences. But no, if you say it's a lip service, just recently, look what he said about Yeke Kolba, that they will meet under the market table. Now, you know, you must say in the Kolokwa, if you say we'll meet on the field.
Who said that about Yeke Kolba?
The president.
Oh, recently?
I'm telling you. Now,
I never heard that one.
Okay. Like you didn't hear it, but I'm seeing it. Maybe some other person here heard it. If you told someone, if you told your body, so we'll meet at coconut plantation.
That was after his campaign on the Oro. It was during the campaign.
Yeah, yeah. Those are his words. And if you listen to what Yeke Kolba said, the next day, the UN country director has to come to have a press conference. What is the message? That people say the person is peaceful. But look at the jazz he's throwing out there. You remember one time he did, they said, oh, if the here Henry Costa could meet, he would say who would be their friend. This is the president speaking. How can you tell me that this man is peaceful? It added two things. You say, you tell your son, you're going to go and cause that trouble. Anything you say they can't, I don't want. And then back I would say, I don't want send you. Let me see what they will do. These are the games that president we are playing, and they say he's peaceful. No, that's not being peaceful. They brutalize people. And you say, okay, the Minister of Justice will go ahead and investigate. They go to and cool, nothing happened. And people say you're peaceful. But you're instigating people, and you yourself are the messenger from words you say. I know people will not, they don't like to say this thing, but I will tell people, I cannot sit down and say, President, well, it's peaceful with this kind of thing happening on his watch. Other than that, I mean, he don't love the people he rule or something else. Because if you love the people, you will protect everybody regardless of where they come from. Because that's why they say justice is blind. It should not pick. So if someone in your camp does something, there's a need that they face the consequence of that or what they did. Because precedent, people in Liberia, many people believe that impunity is the order of the day. They can look at someone and say, I will do this, and nothing will come out of it because I got a connection with this group. So salute. About the big lies and the brutal lies. What the president said, he didn't know the people that did it. But these were people at his party headquarters endorsing him, giving them the wearing t-shirt. But the president came to say, oh, I don't know them. And today, what is the case? They gone, cool. Jefferson Kochi, repeating the same thing. The question asked, was there part of the Liberian body politics? I didn't follow the Chancellor election too well. I don't know that's how the adversary were charged. But when they come into power of CDC as a political entity since 2005, they have always demonstrated an act of violence. They have always been very physically aggressive to other people. They tore casket in Monrovia. They did burn tires in the street of Monrovia. CDC. This is a pattern of these people. It's one language I think these people understand, which is violent. They did it. They took women on a club, put tomato on it. On a person, Ellie Johnson, they get in the street. But these are the same people who come and tell you, say, oh, no, we respect people. We respect women. What this action accumulate to? Violence and destruction. Because when they one person to say, no one, we will stand up to it. I will not allow this to happen. And if the political leader, that's why I always say, Mr. Comey goes in the air, he will always say, let us fight over ideas, not personalities. Let us fight over the ideas. Let us put our idea forward to see which one the people will take. Just recently, Councilor Tenwako had a press conference. He accused George Weah, the CDC-led government, and that of Joseph Walker for fomenting confusion in stirring and trouble in the country. Last week, Tenwako had a press conference. And was just watch it. He accused them that these people have to tone down this rhetoric because they are stirring confusion in the country. Councilor Wongo said the other day last week. So they speak about the country. If we all want peace, I always say, if we want peace, we have to do the thing that will maintain the peace. So the Liberian and the politician, let us speak to the supporters. Because Liberia, this is the Ottawa 10 will pass. We always say remain Liberians.
All right.
So now,
okay, let me thank you, Mr. John. Let me go to Terry. And Terry, let me ask you this here. With all of these things that we just talked about, do you think CDC has the ability? Do you think they have the ability to control some of the issues that perhaps, I'm not talking about deep grassroots politics where people will argue in a bar and things like that, but when you have an intellectual, intellectual and gray, they most likely don't go together. So I would change that language. If you had the Honorable Gray making statements such as, we will not allow the opposition to take our country, and knowing the sophistication level of our people, we will not allow the opposition to take our country. Does it even jive with a man who is thinking about peaceful election?
Well, to be honest with you, it's a clear no. But like you said, do they have the ability? That is something to look at. That is the reason why they need to be replaced. That is the reason why we go into the elections, because the Liberian people don't believe that they have the ability to to control violence. They don't. It's ready to me. If something ready, if Honorable Gray can go on the university campus, knowing very well that the university campus have been one of the branches, in our body politics that have been stirring up a lot of protests and confusion during most of during most of those leadership in Liberia. Will you want to mess with the university? Will you really want to do that? When Honorable Gray went to the university, that was when I saw that CDC-led government was immature to power. They did not have the ability to, they don't have the ability to control the power that have been given to them. And I think this is where President Weah is failing greatly, and that is the reason why the people want to replace him. Because you have to have the wisdom to be able, this don't only need somebody with a doctorate degree, all right? Common sense can tell you that this is not appropriate. Common sense.
But are you surprised the fact that CDC like to put their foot in your mouth all of the time? Are you surprised of the like of Gray to come and make these kinds of public statements?
I'm not really surprised again, because that is who Honorable Gray is. That is what he does. From back then, during Ellie's time, these were the people that stirred up the CDC to create violence. All right. And that is what the stigma of violence they have earned the stigma of violence because of the various assertions of sarcastic statements that could stir up chaos in the country. Because that statement he made is a possible threat that could stir up chaos in the country if the Unity Party or other political parties were as the way they respond to issues. So I think CDC need to step up the game, and now it's too late. Like what CDC is too late, because you got 2 more months of election, and we are anticipating a new leadership based upon all these failures, that the inability to be able to manage violence is very, very small.
Okay, folks, if you're listening, Samson, I have with me Mr. Director, not Mr. Director Sissigor, Mr. Amos George, and Terry Collins, the youngest man among us, is sitting here with us as well, but he's have more wisdom than me, and so
don't say that.
I'm glad to have him here as well. But let me go to Sissy here. Sissy, we will soon be wrapping it up here. But at this stage of the game, and with sedition, are so much, their skin is so thin. You blow one air through it, they all bending out of shape like reeds against the wind, all that kinds of stuff. They have no spine whatsoever to stand up to the truth. They have nothing to offer. And yet still, they don't want you to say anything whatsoever. If you open your mouth, they call you names. And these are same people that think that they're smart. Well, I'll be careful here, because these are my brothers and sisters as well. So I'll be careful. But when you hear sedition coming up with this idea, one round victory, what will happen if they don't have the one round victory? Would they claim cheating, or what exactly you think might happen? And what do you make of that statement, one round victory? And
well,
CDC is also with Unity Party.
Statistically, it's impossible. So, both the CDC and the Unity Party have been claiming that one round victory.
But these are educated people. Why would they even make a statement?
No, but here's the thing, though, and it's not a bad thing, actually. In politics, you You want to be able to give confidence to your voters to get out there. It happens different way in certain in other places in the world. Like, for example, here in the US, last elections, Joe Biden and the Democrats kept pushing that we were not ahead. Even when the polls came up and said the Democratic Party was ahead, they kept pushing that they weren't ahead because they wanted the people to feel like, oh, we need to go. We shouldn't be comfortable and sit at home and say we got this. I think it's lopsided between the CDC and the Unity Party. You're telling people is one round victory, gets other people to say, well, but we already got it for, I ain't got to go vote. We already got it, I ain't got to go vote.
Exactly.
That might work against you. But on the flip side, they might be using that to gin up some enthusiasm among their people that they're not losing. That look, people say the CDC losing, we're not losing, or people say the Unity Party will lose, we're not losing. So that might be the reason they're doing that. But I know they all know that it's impossible to have a one-round victory, statistically impossible to have a one-round victory. But again, if you watch the last time when Darius DeLong was going against Paulita Wee, the same prognosticators from the CDC, the Akaris Gray, my brother from the Fertile Crescent, they were all out there saying that, the numbers are there, they are going to win. Even on the night of elections, when they knew the numbers against them, they were still on radio stations saying they were going to win. It happened the next time again. So I think it's a political strategy. I think it's unique to a larger extent to Liberia that, we tell our people that we're going to win, and so that they're not discouraged to sit at home to come. But in other places, I look at that as you get people to get too comfortable and say, oh, but maybe I will just go say today because we get enough vote, I ain't got to go vote, right? And so you end up getting people that will decide not to show up to the polls because you've given them false hope. And I don't know what this strategy is leading to, but I think I would not advise my candidate to say one round victory when we know it's impossible. In fact, I wouldn't even advise my candidate to say that we are in the lead because most time people like the underdog. And that's why a lot of people play to be the underdog, right? Because it look that you're losing and everybody gang up against you and most people will come to your aid. But again, I'm not in their war room, so there might be a different strategy, might be a different reason why they're choosing the strategy they're choosing.
Okay. Mr. George, just 2 minutes because I'm getting ready to open the line. Just 2 minutes for us, if you don't mind, or even less. And that is, what do you see on Wakumi's stand? How do you see his progress, and where does he stand right now, comparing to the rest of the group? From your own perspective, what you know? I'm not asking. You're not speaking for ANC. From what you know, what you've been reading, where do you see on Wakumi's where's he standing right now?
Mr. Comey is very competitive. I think just yesterday, the press conference he had, all the people in Morocco, I was listening to the radio station today. There was a state talking about his press conference he had, comparing with that of Honorable Boakai. So, and yesterday he was all in the community again under that ring. So they are engaging.
Yeah, let me poke you a little bit because you are ANC man. When President we are on the ring, oh yeah, what a man standing on the ring for? Wait, man, hold on. I said I'm gonna poke you. So let me finish poking. Hold on, Mr. George. Hold on. I want to park you right now. Your colleague is not here tonight. Your colleague is not here to help you. I know you are center right conservative, and I'm the liberal. I don't want to start a fight with you here. So let me poke you. When President we was speaking, I'm not saying particularly you, but meaning ANC people. Well, the man speaking on the ring. Where you trying to? Now your man on the ring. You're coming here to come pressing now that now you know that ring can't keep you up.
No, let me push back on you. Okay. I don't know how many ANC members that you spoke to that said that. I never questioned Corona on being on the ring. All I'm saying is this is not going to engage the people when you say that all those 6 years, he had never visited somebody community. They have always been sitting down. Election now is when now he's trying to engage. Community has always been in the community. From day one, he has always been engaged in this community. Okay. But let me say this. That phrase they're using, one round, to both of those parties, I'm coming from an angle that is dangerous. Because if you say you're going to win one round, some of your partisans will buy into it, and if the one round you doesn't win, We saw what happened here with Donald Trump, and they're still going through it. They rigged the election. Today, last year, we saw people running to the Capitol building. These things are not good. You can be competitive to say, yes, we are in the race, but to say one round, and you are putting this information into certain people. Somebody said on the French, can say they cheated us. Was supposed to win one round. The president said, or my chairman said, was supposed to win one round. Someone cheated us. These things are not good messaging. For them, it might be good for them, but I look at it from a different angle. There's nothing wrong to say, hey, we're in a lead, but to be going down that road, we want to win one round, I don't care what happened. And the records are there. The statistics, the numbers are there. When George Bush was at the height, he never crossed 50%, 40% of the two elections. Never crossed 40%. Now, he had been president almost 6 years. He has a record to defend. He's defending it. That's why you see the all out there. Is that the time that he's going to win 50+1? Honorable Bwaga has a record to defend. He never crossed 41%. How can they say that they are not going to win 50+1 upright? Look, these people got to be real. The numbers are there. It doesn't lie. Moreover, now you got in, I would say 4 people that is in a competitive race now. George Weah, Joseph Boakai, it is not coming, and Tewan Gonglo. Is that one that you're going to win 50+1? So these people they must try to talk that they must start talking that to the people. They can say, yeah, we are competitive, and we'll win. But to come and tell your people, oh, we're going to win, they think they are definite. Seeing it. Oh, we'll win one round straight. This is not good for our democracy because there are people sitting on the fringes with buy into that thing that they cheated us. So we have to be very careful how we talking to our voters. There's nothing wrong with saying we are competitive or we'll win it, fine. But when you come out to say this thing and the number doesn't add up, then of course there's a problem. And what I see happening, you're touching a little bit. Now, poor tax, they were either brown. Must reverse that decision. Nobody got money to pay $5 for voter cards. These are things people do to stir up trouble in the country. Nobody got money to pay $5. People cannot have their tax paid. Then you tell someone to pay $5 to go register to vote.
When the government don't you have money to pay.
They don't have money. Then you tell people to pay $5. That poor tax.
Yeah, of course, there's poor tax.
That is the way of preventing people from exercising their franchise. And I saw that thing last month. And I called the opposition. I said, this thing, you need to take a look at it. Because this will prevent many people from voting.
Who opposition you call? You call my papa?
I call Uncle Joe. I call
we know who you are, so we didn't take all your call.
Okay. But
on a serious note, though, the issue of poor tax and taxing the poor people. In fact, was one time when they talk about providing IDs to show that you're a Liberian, I was talking about how difficult it is for poor people to go and pay for national IDs. Now the tax, the extra money to pay for to get a voting ID replaced. This should not just be an opposition issue. Because there is no monopoly over people losing their IDs. Seditionists might also lose their IDs. And I imagine it'll be difficult for them also to spend $5 to get an ID. So I think there should be something that is holistically approached. And I think if the Election Commission came up with this as a way of trying to defray the cost of printing new voter IDs. I think the national legislature, I think the president should call back the national legislature just to handle this, provide more funding to be able to ensure that they can deal with that. But I think this was the Election Commission's way of trying to deal with the extra burden, the financial burden of coming up with new voter IDs when they don't have the money. And also, I think this is an all Liberian thing. See, there will be some seditionists that lose their voter IDs. There will be some LPP people, UP people, ANC, CPP. everybody is going to lose some IDs, and there's a lot of people struggling.
Let
Not
me ask
everybody
you-
who vote for the CDC have money. There's some struggling people who still believe in the CDC, and
So
so it
let
will
me
be
ask you
difficult for them
this.
to pay for that. So I think there should be something that every lawmaker and the president should call back the legislature back into session to deal with putting funding into place for this, so that our people are not disenfranchised.
Let's move the poll. Let me move the goalpost a little bit. Say you're about to score. Let me move the goalpost on the left hand side, because I don't know if you got left foot that is good to score. So with this poll tax, what I consider to be poll tax, with that in place, and many young Liberians are not able, or Liberians registered voters are not able to replace their card, thereby not being able to vote. Who does it benefit? Less people. Who would it benefit among all three or four?
Well, it benefits people with the deepest pocket. Then it come down to almost similar to what happens in LeBron community organizations elections in the United States. Mr. Toll, you know about that, where people pay money. You have to pay your dues to vote. And then if I'm running a campaign and so you want to vote for me, you get money, then I got to pay for your dues. Then you be able to come and be my delegate and vote. So that is what will end up happening. The people, the parties with the deepest pocket, if somebody, you know, is my supporter and they don't have the ID, I can pay the $5 for them to get an ID to go and vote for me. But then what that brings that to now is a constitutional violation, because then we all don't have equal rights to determine our self-governance and the people who represent us. And I think that is wrong. But to answer your question, it's going to be those people with the deepest pockets. And as it stands right now, it might be the CDC government and the ANC and the Unity Party. And they put I plenty of money. I won't follow lawyer.
So let me go to Terry. I'll come to you because this is
Mr. John, can be complete because
Terry, I will come to you, but this is a controversial that I like to establish, and the best person that can really take me across the river here on the controversy that I'm ready to do will be Mr. George. Mr. George, what sisters say if we're going to hold that? Is that vote buying?
It is vote buying.
So that means CDC will be buying vote.
Exactly. And let me say this.
Okay.
The ANC would the ANC will never endorse in such an act. But let me say that, let me go one step further.
Yeah, there we go.
The Election Commission.
They force it, Pape. I know you're not coming to that ANC thing. You're coming down for any movie.
Let me say this. The Election Commission, I would say, either this was a calculated attempt to deprive certain Liberians of voting for their political party of their choice. Why am I saying this? They made a budget. What was the budget about? You knew that you have to replace voter card. You know that people lost over the period, people will lost their voter cards. All these things should have been embedded in that budget. But you cannot go and present and leave this thing out, then come back to tax the people. Either you are creating a scenario where the ruling party that control the coffer, they will go and pay these people to give them $500 to come and buy the voter registration card. It's vote buying, and also it's illegal and depriving other people of the fundamental right to vote. So I'm saying, Madam Deveta Brown, think twice, because you will be depriving Liberians of the basic right to vote. Remove that $5, let everybody go and get a voter card. Those who lost their voter cards and those who damage their card, they can go and have it to vote. But you cannot use this to deprive people from going to the poll. This is a poll tax, and it was calculated, done so it can favor the CDC, the ruling party, because they control the coffer. And we have to start speaking on it.
Thank you, Mr. Judge. Terry, I'm sorry I wasn't able to come to you. We're going to be closing. So just give me a closing. Tomorrow we'll be back here again, as usual. I'm sorry that we came on late today because I have some mix-up schedule here. But go ahead, give us your closing, then I'll go to Sissy, and then Mr. George can close it for us.
Yeah, first of all, we need to understand whether if the poll tax that we're talking about, whether if the election commission coming up with that amount is illegal. If it is not illegal according to our laws, that means they have the right to do that. So it is now binding upon our legislature to argue it in the House and come up with a solution that will be able to reduce the payment in some kind of way, or that will be able to create a means that money will be pumped into the election commission to cover that expenses, because that is also expensive. I also remember that the election commission have been complaining also that the full amount, the budget, I don't know if they received the total amount of money that was requested for by the legislature to carry out the electoral process. I doubt that have fully come in. So we also got to take into consideration all these irregularities to be able to come up with a conclusion that this is what it is. I believe that if that goes the way it's going, it will affect every political party, and nobody have the ability to buy a vote. Every voter that's going to the pool is going there with a mindset that the person I love or the person I believe that can do this is what I'm going to vote for. If your political leader go and pay somebody or buy somebody voter card or try to help them to reclaim the voter card that got missing, it is on you, because when that person go to the ballot box, they will decide who to vote for. All right. So voting is the person right. They can choose. Like I remember in Liberia, a representative was very much excited and went and pumped money into a lot of people, did a whole lot of things in 2011. Guess what? A whole hustle. Only him, even his wife didn't vote for him in Liberia. Even his wife, he received only one vote. One vote. So you see, that is the tricky part. But my to finally close, all right, I want to close on this to say that, you know, I believe strongly that JMB have reboot his campaign strategy, and he is now, to my opinion, in my opinion, I could be wrong, that for me, I think he's doing very well right now in the campaign and all of that. I think he's doing very well. But my disappointment that I wanted to talk about, but I didn't have the chance to talk about, is really on the ANC. I believe that the ANC need to slow down the attacks on the Unity Party. We must remember that the person who persecuted Mr. Cummings was the government. It was not JMB. The Solicitor General, most people say it was the Unity Party that broke all the CPP. It was not the Unity Party. If you forgot, you need to remember. When President Weah was playing that strategy, when the government of CDC were playing that strategy and they robbed Mr. Cummings, there was the Solicitor General that was persecuting you. And the Solicitor General, right after that, when Mr. Cummings left the court, it didn't stay long, 2 or 3 months. There was a sanction that came on him, and most of what he carried on was stipulated in those documents. So we need to realize who we're fighting against. If you decide to now side with the CDC to fight against the Unity Party, then you are making a very big mistake, because the very people that persecuted you were the people that you decide to side with because you don't want JMB. So thank you very much for having me. That will be my closing.
Thank you. First, please look at your schedule. I'd like to have you on one-on-one, and if it's not one-on-one, I have a cousin, Dr. Fortier, Stephanie Fortier, who has a PhD in education, specific, colloquium building, or whatever you call it. That's what she does as well. I'd like to have her on here as well to have the conversation, because I really want to learn about it, and so that I will be able to make my big mouth when I'm saying you don't do the the two young people that doing X,
So
Y, and Z.
you want to build a collection for total?
You see that one? You see, I come and pack you in the God. No, I can't say that one. I can't say that. I can't bring out. I come to exercise you. That's a good. But anyway, so yeah, go ahead. But please look at your schedule and see what will be the best time, and then you and I can talk about it maybe by tomorrow before airtime. So, but go ahead and give us your closing.
Yeah. So in closing, there are a few things. Number one, again, I'm back down to leaders in Liberia. Please lead. Please lower the tenure. Please lower the anger. Please lower the insults. I know you don't control every one of the people who support you, but you can at least try to set the stage, at least lead. And this goes to all political party leaders. It's not just the ANC, the CDC, or the Unity Party. It's all political party leaders. Please create a conducive continuum for your people to occupy, because you want to make sure people that get out in the streets to vote for you return home safely. People that get out in the streets to canvass for you return home safely. It will be on your conscience if people came out to support you and something bad happened to them. The second piece is, George Weah has done a lot of good things, just like Ellen government did a lot of good things. There's a lot of gaps in the good things they've done. And that's why we're running. That's why Tiawan Congress is running, to try to make sure we improve on those things. We're not saying Weah has not done anything great. He's built a hospital in Bapolu. Fine. We need to make sure we can staff it and make sure that there is budgetarily allocated for. He's provided for free tuitions at the public universities, but then fees have gone on fine. We need to make sure we can think about how do we stabilize that so it doesn't go up while still maintaining that service for our people. He's paid WIAC tuition fine. That is, we need to make sure that becomes a law and is budgeted for, so it's not a one-time thing. So there's a lot of good things that have been done. We need to expand on it. They built some feeders roads fine, that when it rain tomorrow, the water watches us away. That was an experiment. We need to make sure now we've been the experts to make sure that they can do those engineering work and ensure that our roads stay. The last piece I want to put on here is that schools are about to reopen in Liberia. There are a lot of our children, a lot of them, who will not have access to go to school. A lot of parents really want for their children to go to school. They're praying, but they can't afford it to send them to school. This is not political. This is not on George Weah. It's been happening before George Weah. This is not a joint 1135 thing. This happened during Ellington, it happened during Taylor time, it happened before the war. I will be coming out, be doing some fundraiser to raise some money for the less fortunate, to raise some money for the children in orphanages and other places, to try to see how we can help them out. We can keep talking about how to change Liberia, but if we forget about the least fortunate amongst us, then we can sit here and yell all day about how Joe we are then stealing, we are no better than them. So I'll be coming out to all of you, asking you for support on how we can raise money to help the least fortunate among us, so that we can educate our brothers and sisters in Liberia. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Josh, please make it brief.
Let me make it quick. Let me say this. Mr. Terry Collins, ANC people are not attacking the Unity Party people. It was under your chairmanship that they took Mr. Cummings to court. It wasn't the CDC that prosecuted Cummings. When you take a criminal complaint to any government, it is the law. The government must take charge of that criminal complaint. So it was Mr. Benina Ure and Joseph Boakai who testified that took him to court. You heard your Joseph Boakai yesterday, you heard his press conference, what he said, and you heard Benina Ure response. But we have to discuss that, because Joseph Boakai said that Benina Ure told him in 2017 that he could put 15,000 men in the street, and he got armed in the Coca-Cola factory. That was Joseph Boakai's words yesterday, that Benina Ure told him that. Now Benina Ure came back to say, I didn't say, oh man, you are delusional. Quoting Benina Ure, not me. Those are his words. Say, in fact, you are chairman of the Lofa Defense for you, Joseph Boakai, not me. So if I see that, don't say I'm attacking Joseph Boakai. His foster son that he had, who not coming to say this thing about him. So don't get it twisted that we attacking Joseph Boakai, the Unity Party people. No, you people the one that took Alexander B. Cummings to court. When Joseph Boakai used to come to Atlanta, Cummings used to go there to raise funds for him, but he had a nerve to go and testify against that man, something that which was not true. So don't spin it. Okay, it is what it is. So let me say this again to our political leaders. Please talk to some of the supporters to tone down the rhetoric. Because after October 10, we'll all be hitting one another again on Broad Street in single. Let us go with this exchange of idea. You that get a good fish, they will buy it. You that get a rotten fish, they will buy by you. They say, oh man, we ain't buying that fish here. So let us go down that path. Not the violent rhetoric. It will not take us anywhere. Only thing it will do for us, destruction. I want to see Caesar tomorrow. When I go to minister, I'm gonna go to Caesar Hall. I'm gonna be free to eat in a horse. Whether you got some pound right there,
we're not gonna welcome you. We're not gonna welcome you.
Oh man, when I come to Sacramento, that's a different thing. Because when I come to Sacramento, that's a different thing. We'll go to Grand Gilead. When I go to Caesar, we're going between Bon County and Lofa County.
Okay. All right, folks. On a very serious note, thank you yesterday. Like I stated earlier, and I'm very serious that you make us all proud. I don't have.
You're embarrassing Sissy. You embarrassing this man. This man, we know if you go to Sissy, you come to my house, you don't gotta say thank you. You embarrassing this man. I'm telling you, you embarrass this man.
That why you want to be the police director on Uncle Mings? So you so you kind of temperament. What kind of temperament you got?
Sissy is not that kind of person. Sissy is not that kind of person. Sissy is not one of those kind of people.
No, I okay. Well, we're gonna have to learn. But Sissy, no, seriously, you make
us one of those kind of people who want you more kind and say this. No, he's not that kind of person.
You make us all proud. I don't have to come from Lofa County, but the fact that I'm old enough to be your dad and you're at that level, as young as you are, because here's the thing on a very serious note. When I was your age here in the United States, I was running from football field to football field. I was, that was I even finished my engineering program until I was some 60, 70-year-old. But on a very serious note, for you at that age to be able to grasp the future and try to plan that and have set a goal and I bet you follow those goals. And I think they're paying off. And I really, really appreciate it. And I want to thank you for that because many young people look up to people like you for guidance, even if you don't talk to them, but they see the way you carry yourself, the way you express yourself. And those are things that our community need from time to time. And that's why we try to, when we see people like you, we appreciate it and say thank you. Thank you very much.
That one, no joke about it. That one, no joke. Because when children in that school, they see Mr. Sissy, they are proud just by seeing Mr. Sissy in that position.
And that's why I don't want you to associate yourself with Sissy because with your temperament, the children see it. They go, like we say, yeah, Mr. Judge will go, hey, yeah, we in trouble.
But Terry, nobody do old man will make flower the whole thanks to labor for stopping.
Before you went there, you probably say you don't drink beer, you don't drink wine. Because you went there, you ate, so I'm not going to eat my own. To me, I don't drink beer. I don't have my own. You probably say you don't drink nothing fine, but me, I don't drink beer. So when I go down,
they don't sell. They don't even have the only thing the guy in the house that water.
No, I want that. That's not true. That's not true.
Don't matter there. I look like I did. No
man from Lofa County will have water in your house.
Yeah. So we took the picture yesterday. Him and sister they're laughing. I said I'm gonna put this in the chat room. And Pa Josh and Mr. Mali, they will come high at you because they're the two people that haven't been to my house yet.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, let me say thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let's come tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll try to be on time. And many of you who've been writing, especially Eddie. I've been looking at your picture here and all that your CDC uniform you're wearing. It don't frighten me, Eddie. I look at your picture here. You got CDC uniform, CDC hat, their beret and things. You don't frighten me up again. CDC, you don't scare me up. So all that you're been writing tonight, I've been viewing you too. But we'll see. Oh no, Eddie, thank you. You've been respectful, and that's why I never pick up. You say your point. Sometimes, but that's fine. You're expressing your view. Please join us again tomorrow and continue to express your view. But just keep it in mind that we have to do so with respect to one another. But thank you, guys. say, Mr. George and Terry, I want to thank all of you.
Mr. Talking my message for you.
From where?
Mr. So.
What you say?
He sent me a message.
Coming back next week.
I should make sure I put you in check.
The best day coming back next week. Say honeymoon finish.
Yeah, he told me. He said, make sure get that man in check. I said, Mr. So, don't worry.
All of your conservative, you're scared of me. You're scared of me. So you ain't got place yet. Now that I know the director, I know that he's a director now. It's quite different. It's a different issue right now. But we'll see. But anyway, Mr. George, join us tomorrow early so that we can have a conversation. It's good for all of us to express our view because I really enjoyed it. But thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Again, folks, Samson told LeBron Public Radio. It's been a wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll say good night to all of you. Please join us again tomorrow as we come and do this conversation. Please, if we come here to have conversation, nothing personal. It's our business. Samson told. Good night, folks.